Hey there, welcome to Doing Things Dan's Way. So in this video, we're going to take this DYU C3 bike and put it through its paces and answer the question, is this bike worth $330 or not? Now, I already have an A1F, and I've done a review video on that. We'll put a link up here for that. But the A1F is a little bit bigger and a little bit more expensive. The question is the C3 still worth it at $330? So this video will focus on giving you an honest opinion about this bike. We'll talk about range, we'll talk about durability, we'll talk about the build, we'll talk about how it folds and collapses. Does it fit in a car or not? We're going to go through all of that specific to the C3. Now separately, I'm going to do a video where I compare this bike to the A1F and head-to-head, where we're going to give points for each one of the parameters. And I have 20 to 25 parameters that I'm going to go through. So every little detail, the quality of the light, the quality of the brakes, all the parameters, and we're going to see which bike is better. It's pretty shocking how some things shine for this bike and some things shine for that bike. And so you want to watch that one as well. The link for that would be down below in the description. It'll be at the end card at the end of this video as well. So if you want to watch a video about the C3, that's what this one's all about. So don't go away. This is Doing Things Dan's Way.
Okay, I'm not going to show you a detailed unboxing, but in this hyperlapse, you can see this thing was really well packaged. They had every layer covered up. Metal wasn't rubbing on metal. The only thing I had to do at all is to put on 2 screws for the front fender and the pedals. That was pretty much it. Oh yeah, and the light at the back had 2 little nuts as well.
So first off, this bike is labeled as a folding bike. Now, what exactly does that mean? Well, this is how it folds. You have a latch right here that you release, pull it down, and the handlebars drop all the way to there. Now, what that does, as well as dropping the seat, is minimizes the footprint here quite a bit. So now we have something that's basically 48, 49 inches long. It is 16 inches wide and about 24, 28 inches tall. So the next question for me is, does it fit in a car? Now, as you can see here, we have a little Ford C-Max. The trunk is especially narrow and especially short. The back is full of batteries. And so this bike will not fit in that small car. Now, as you can see, it pops into a Toyota Highlander or any 2 or 3 row SUV that has enough width to swallow up a 48-inch bike. Now, taking a look at the controls, they're really quite simple. There's an on-off button here, a bell, yay, front brake, rear brake, bar graph here showing you the battery status, as well as a button that you can long press to turn the lights on and off. Now, ultimately, the throttle here is what gives you pull whenever you want it, and that's great. You can just gas it just by throttling it, just like a motorcycle. It's going to take off. Now, it also has proportional pedal assist. So the harder you are pedaling, or the faster you're pedaling, the more it's going to assist. So at low pedaling rates, if you're going up a hill, you may need to actually give yourself some throttle to have extra boost, but that's really as simple as it is. Someone can jump on this thing, and the idea of a throttle on a motorcycle just feels natural and is easy to work with. That as you start pedaling, you'll feel the power engage. As soon as you stop pedaling, power lets go. Now, as you've already seen, this thing does have a lighting package on it. So it has headlight, has a rear light as well, and if you apply the brakes, it'll flash for you. I will say, however, that this headlight is only going to give you a small swath of light, and you will definitely want to have a helmet-mounted light. And there's one I like that's really, really cheap. It's like $30. I can put a link down below as well for. And that lets you actually look ahead or look off the side and actually see what's over there before you have to go that way. Really useful for going down pathways and stuff at night where you can't turn the wheel to shine the light at it so you can see what's down there. You want something that's head worn and a whole lot brighter. So safety wise, this guy does have reflectors on the front, reflectors on the wheels, reflector in back, more reflectors, and the lights. So I'm not sure what else they could have done to make this safer, except maybe paint it some other color besides black. Now spinning it around, you can see there are 6.5-inch disc brakes front and rear, and the clearance off the ground is about 4 inches for those. So even though this is a small bike, it doesn't mean the pedals are low to the ground. There's a good 4.5 inches of clearance from pedal down to the road. So that means you can go over rocks, you can go over a curb, and not worry about having the pedal hit and throwing you sideways. And one other feature about this bike I like is it does have a full-length chain guard. So you don't have to worry about your pant leg getting caught in this as you're pedaling. Now, the batteries and the controller are all mounted inside this metal tube here. So it's pretty nicely sealed up. You're not going to worry about water and everything getting in there easily. And they did a good job on this one as well of having a plastic trim piece all the way down here. And that's protecting all the wires that are coming up front, as well as you may have noticed in the handlebars, the wire actually goes up through the handlebars and out the top. That makes the collapsing process just really, really simple because you don't have to manage the wire as it moves around, and there's no exposed, wire bundle here. Now, this does not have an adjustable height handlebar, so that may limit certain sized people in terms of reach and everything. Of course, the seat goes up and down wherever you want it. Now, on the back side, this thing has a really robust looking rear rack, and I'm going to be looking for some kind of cage that can go on here. If I find a nice one, I'll go ahead and put it in the link below. I just don't have it right now. And one more detail to point out I just love about these bikes is having a kickstand on the back corner. Now, the beauty of that is that when you back up the bike, the pedals don't run into the kickstand. So you can back it up all you want and not have it jam into the thing. It's up and out of the way. And if you were to forget to put it up and you turn a corner, it's so short, it'll just kick out of the way really quickly. So it's a silly thing, but I actually really like the thing. Every time I use it, it makes me smile. As far as weight, this bike is about 45 pounds. So depending on how strong you are, 45 pounds is a lot or a little.
So what's it like to actually ride this bike? Now, one of the questions everyone asks is, okay, how powerful is it? It has an electric motor on it. How much of a hill can it go up? So this is like my standard test. So this driveway here starts off flat and then it increasingly gets steeper and steeper and steeper. So I can start off cruising and eventually I have to pedal. And then eventually it gets up past a 10% grade to a 12% grade at the top. And then you have to stand up and just huff your way up it. Now, the whole time I'm standing, I'm also giving it full throttle because my pedal speed isn't that fast. And so it's just giving me a full boost. And when I'm finally at the top, I can just stop pedaling and just go back to full throttle. And it can just throttle me up the next little hill here. So this bike does not have a 1,000-watt motor in it that'll take you up any old hill. It has a 350 watt max motor. So what that means is on any normal, like city streets, riding around town, slight hills, it will completely motor without you pedaling at all. But as soon as you get to any kind of real hill, then you're going to have to start pedaling. In these shots here, I'm just kind of riding around a residential area. And, the slopes are slightly up, slightly down. And for the most part, you're just kind of cruising along. You're pedaling a bit to keep speed up if you need to. But otherwise, it's a comfortable bike. It is small. The wheels are only 14 inches. And so it is not as stable as a full-size bike would be with larger tires. But I'm also doing an awful lot of riding for this video one-handed. And as you can see, I'm not exactly losing control here. So here I am riding around, a fair amount of traffic, over a bridge, over the freeway, around other traffic. And the bike feels very natural. It doesn't feel like I'm riding this little teeny scooter of a bike and that cars are just going to run me over any differently than if I was riding my mountain bike. Here you can see me riding around just a local strip mall, interacting with the traffic there. It's so easy to get up to speed and to roll along in the speed appropriate for a parking lot like this, where I'm actually because of the speed bumps, I'm faster than the cars are, as you can see here. So it's very easy to not only keep up with traffic, but really have to slow down for it at some level because, you can zip around these speed bumps and just keep going. It's one of the stops I had to make when I was on this little trip was to this hardware store. And again, the beauty of this bike being so small is it does not feel awkward to walk into the store with it, just holding it with one hand and to walk around the store. So no one comments, or if they do comment, it's actually a complimentary thing. And people are asking me, about the bike, how much it costs, where I got it, what's it like riding it. Okay, so now that I have the little sprinkler adapter that I needed to buy there, I'm heading back up the hill. Again, nobody commented about my bringing the bike in the store, and they never do. And now I'm heading up that long hill back up to the freeway. And while I am pedaling, I don't feel winded at all when I get to the top of the hill because the throttle is helping push me along, and I'm getting some exercise in. And that's one of the comments I think people have or thoughts about e-bikes is that, oh, well, you have an e-bike, and so you're not going to be, you're just going to run around on the battery, and you're not going to get an actual exercise routine out of it at all. So I guess my thought there is that this is a trip I would normally hop in the car and drive down here. And by having it making the trip easy for me to get down and back on the bike, I'm much more willing to actually go ride. And so I'm actually getting some form of workout, even though it's not like 100% my energy. The encouragement for me to go, because it's not going to totally gas me, is enough for me to want to take the bike and enjoy the ride and enjoy the air. So with a basket on the back, this lets me come down here to this local grocery store, grab a few groceries, and head back up the hill and not be completely exhausted because of the hill that I have to climb to get back to my house.
Now, having lived with this bike for a few weeks now, the only thing I added to it at all was this basket. I didn't really like any of the little flimsy little basket options I saw, so I picked this one up on Amazon. I'll stick a link to that below. Of course, I have links to this, and if you use my coupon code, I think you get a 10% discount if you put in the code Dan's Way. So hit up that coupon code from the link down in the description below for this bike. The next video to come will be a comparison between this bike, the C3, and the DYU A1F Pro. So that one will take these two bikes. This one is about $330. That one's about $399. So for $70, what really do you get? Is the other one better or not? So in the end, this is a fun bike. It's going to stay with me. We're taking it camping next weekend, along with the A1F Pro. So I'll have some footage of that as well. I don't see anything wrong at this price point for this bike. If it fits in your car, that's a key point. The A1F Pro does fold smaller, and it does fit in that C-Max, so that may be a reason. But I won't dig into all the comparisons quite yet. Hit up that video there on the comparisons between the two bikes, the C3 and the A1F Pro. Hit up this other one here where I do some other bike review on the A1F or on this guy. Don't forget to subscribe to see the next videos that come out. It'll show up on your feed. And until next time, guys, be blessed.